Hi, I am Itesha Jeff, and I am a mindfulness and meditation practitioner, author, as well as a inspirational speaker. And this is In Conversation with the Masters. And in this series, I will be in conversation with open-minded, open-hearted, and conscious living people from across the globe who will be answering some of life's most profound questions. And today, we are so lucky to be talking to David Groode, who is a master numerologist and intuitive reader with clients from across the world. And now David can help you uncover unconscious blocks, see people's gifts and patterns, and what career is actually best for them. And David is also a master at profiling people just by looking at their photo. And I have seen David work his magic, and he is just really, today we are sitting with a master of masters. And not only that, he is a powerhouse. He is really a powerhouse of wisdom. And again, we are just so blessed to have him with us today. So David, thank you so much for making time to have a chat with us today.
No problem. It's so great to be here and such an honor. So thank you for having me, my friend.
It's only a pleasure. It's only a pleasure because let me tell you, friends, that you are so lucky that David has made time to talk to you, because as his friend, we haven't actually spoken like this in years. So the fact that he's made time to talk to all of us is just incredible, and we are really grateful. So thanks, David. Now, what question do you ask somebody who is a true master? What question do you ask when you are sitting in the presence of someone truly awakened and truly amazing and wonderful, who has wisdom from the ages? What question do you ask such a person? In fact, I feel a little nervous. So, David, I'm going to start off a little light here. So the first question for you, my friend, is let's put an end to the debate. Does pineapple belong on a pizza?
For some people. Some people love it on pizza.
Yeah. And you?
And some people don't.
So do you think that it is a crime to put pineapple on a pizza?
I don't think it's a crime. I think if people want that Hawaiian flavor, fruity flavor on their pizzas, then great.
And you? Do you like pineapple? Because I actually do.
I don't always like it on my pizza, but there have been times where I have. But usually these days I don't put it on my pizza.
Okay, so there you go, folks. That's the answer. Pineapple does not belong on the pizza. Okay, so let's get serious, David. So the first question that I want to ask you, and I'm sure you have some thoughts and opinions about this, is where do we actually come from? And there are actually two levels to this. One maybe on the level of the soul, maybe, but the other, I think, which I want you to maybe share your thoughts on, where do we come from as a species, as a just as human beings. So one theory is that we came from Adam and Eve. The other possible theory is that we evolved from dolphins. I'm sure you may have heard that theory as well, that we came from dolphins. Dolphins, as you know, are very similar to human beings. The other theory is that we evolved from some kind of a monkey. And then, there's one more theory that we somehow came from aliens. I have a theory about where we came from, but I would love to hear what you think first. Where do you think we've come from?
Well, nothing like starting off with a big question. Well, I would answer this in different ways, okay?
Yeah.
Um, I would say, personally, I have to go personal here because personally, I have a belief in creator.
Right.
You know, like the Force in Star Wars, like that higher power with intelligence that's made up of love and has wisdom to it, higher consciousness to it, that is connected to all of us. So personally, I believe in creator. However, meaning that higher energy, frequency, and power of love. However, since I'm going to go personal here
Yeah.
and not hold back,
Please.
I also believe in the ET theory
Right.
that we were, that many of us in this world were created by higher forms of intelligence that were more advanced, and we were like I don't want to say a science experiment, but a seed planet for different life forms that was created for this planet, as well as other planets. So then to elaborate on all of this a little more, we're on a soul journey.
Yes.
So we're souls traveling, and our souls have been put into these bodies. Our bodies are like a spacesuit for the experience of coming to school here. Life is the teacher, and our body is like our outfit we're wearing for the experience of coming to school here to learn on a soul level. So the physical body, the outfit, isn't permanent. It's like in that series on, I forget the name of it, on Netflix, where they call the bodies the sleeve.
Okay.
I forget the name of that series, but I'd know it if I heard it. Our body is not a permanent thing, but our soul is. Our soul doesn't dissolve. Our soul continues. So I don't know if that answers the question in the way that you were thinking. It's just,
Well,
it's just me not holding back and saying what comes to me about it, because it's such a big question.
It is a really big question. And I know that you actually can color that in more, maybe for a smaller group or a smaller audience, but I do understand what you are saying, and you have answered it really well, because I also agree with one theory, with the theory that you're actually talking about, that we could have been really engineered by some higher beings, who we can
engineered is a great way of saying it.
yeah, so some kind of higher beings, and you could also slash aliens, but you see, the moment you use the word aliens, then you sound like but aliens are not green guys walking around, they're just higher beings that could have actually
some forms of them can be that, but they can be a lot of forms and other things too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Can I share with you where I think we come from?
Please, I'd love to hear
which I think is kind of real and also scary. Now, if I showed you this iPhone 100 years ago, you would have thought that this was a creation that's absolutely genius, that this much of technology can fit inside here. There's no way you could say, 100 years ago. And the reason that I'm starting off with that point is because I want to share with you that in the Bible, it says that God created man in his image. And I just want to let everybody know out there, and I'm sure you know as well, that I don't prescribe to any religion, but I'm just quoting this from the Bible, that God created man in his image. Have you seen or heard of an AI called Sophie?
Heard of it.
Yeah, so now
Don't know very much about it.
yeah, look, there's not much to know about her, but she's an AI and she's a lady, and she you can have a full-on conversation with her. In fact, I could actually interview her and she would answer questions back to me. And if you look at Sophie,
Wow.
she looks like a human being.
Hmm.
And she has, like, the top part of her body from here up to her head. And if you see her, if she was possibly in a crowd of people, you would not think that she's a robot. She's AI. So it got me thinking, what if the God that created us was the prior generation of humans? You see, AI, we're gonna have robots, AI walking around as if it's you and me. We're gonna have lovers as AI very soon. We're gonna have relationship with these things. I mean, because we think that they're gonna be washing our clothes or cleaning our house or serving us food, but eventually they're gonna integrate with society. And I think they would get to a point where the technology becomes so great that they're going to have human-like skin. And then eventually they will just take over the planet, and we will die as human beings, but they will take over and live. And we will find a way for them to live an entire lifetime without being plugged in or charged, because we are also not far away from having a phone that doesn't need charging. And that's just my theory. Yeah, so okay, another tough question. Do you think time travel is possible? And if time travel is possible, why haven't we seen any of the time travelers?
I think that we already have time travel, but it's been kept from most of humanity as a hidden technology that they already have and have been working with since many, many, many years now. And I think they've had access to it for many years. I don't think they're planning on releasing it for a while, but I do think it's coexisting in our world without most people even knowing that it is available in there to the few who are included in working with it.
But do you think that we can travel back in our time? Can we actually go back to our reality that we are living in our sort of timeline? Can we travel in our timeline, or do we have to travel to another reality that goes back in time, in the past?
I think it could be done both ways.
Yeah.
If you're talking like a time traveling machine, which I do believe already exists, you could travel back on a timeline to that time or forward. But if you're talking about within ourselves, we can go through shamanic journey, shamanic journey work, through even breath work can rebirth us and take us to another place of consciousness. So there are techniques, breath work, shamanic journey work, meditation. I'd have to think of some other ones, but those come to mind right away.
But what value do you think we would have in time travel, besides going back in time and finding all of the lotto numbers? What other value do you think people may be using it for?
sometimes people can have healing through it, and sometimes people can create a different healing consciousness for our world and for humanity through that. So those are all very worthy reasons. Other reasons other than healing, maybe to learn, but then, you know, people need to be mindful about how they choose to, what their intentions are for doing that kind of thing and opening it and going for it.
You know, human beings very rarely learn from their mistakes, you know, and, whoever has access to this technology has to be really wise and really awakened, because imagine always going back in time to fix some error that you've made now in the present, only to have some other issue come up. So you will have to always end up going back in time to try to fix what's happening now, because no matter what, we will always have some kind of chaos. We can't change that. Let's say, for example, we go back in time and we stop the Titanic from hitting that iceberg, saving thousands of people. If we do that, I mean, I'm just trying to think of the repercussions of that. Because what if there was a kind of a Hitler that was on that ship, who went out and then, you know, killed more people? So you think you are actually doing something good, but actually you're making the situation worse or just as the same.
Absolutely. We never know what impact what we do has completely.
So I think you actually answered the question there by saying, I think you answered the question really wisely by saying, maybe we don't go back in time to do anything, but simply to observe people and situations and experience a time. It's like maybe like going to a movie where the rule is you go there and you sit there, but you can't interfere with the real or the character or the story or the movies. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. That's why we haven't seen it or heard it, because that's the rules of time travel. So
it's different.
Yeah.
I think it would be told differently by different people depending on where their consciousness is and their intentions.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a safety piece in it too.
Yeah. David, are we really free? And when I ask that question, do we actually have our own thoughts, beliefs, and ideas? Or even just as a society, do you really think that freedom exists?
Other than being a concept, I think we bring the freedom with us everywhere we go. Bring the freedom to the party of life or to school. Freedom is whatever we're really telling ourselves about the experience we're experiencing. And so if we're telling ourselves and believing what we're telling ourselves about it, then we're bringing it. Because we can tell ourselves a lot of things, but we don't always believe what we're telling ourselves.
Absolutely. That's true. But as a human being, I sometimes do not feel that I am really an individual that has unique thoughts. I feel that I am a real product of society. I've been taught what to think.
Everything has been recorded based on our experiences, and then that becomes part of us when we become connected to it and identified with it. And what I mean by identifying is like when you go to a movie and you see an emotional scene and you feel yourself becoming emotional, and then you relate it, because you related it to something you've been through or someone you know, and you start to become emotional, then you've identified with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we could identify with any experiences and things that happen in life, but if we identify with it, we become it.
Absolutely.
And there's not as much freedom in that, because it makes us a little more attached. We're not removed enough to observe it and see it all clearly when we're identified with it.
Yeah. I wonder how much of me is actually me. Because, say, for example, my mom liked wearing the color red. So because I love my mom, then I say, okay, red is now my favorite color. Or I drive a certain car. Okay, let's use this example. It's more likely that you are going to bank with the same bank that your parents actually banked with, or use the same insurance broker that they used. Or another example, why do you use the washing machine? Why do you use the washing powder that you use? Is it because you chose freely, or is it because your parents used it when you were growing up, or is it because the advert on TV was so good enough that it actually made you buy it? So you didn't actually freely choose to use that washing powder, to use that broker. You were influenced.
Yes.
So,
and we all have likes and dislikes.
Yes.
And we're all run by our likes and dislikes completely. And or need for connection or attention or comfort. Sorry?
And to actually really belong. So we want to be like other people, and we want to belong to a group or to a culture. So
yes.
Say, okay, or a band or whatever it is.
A lot of these are deeply instinctual phenomena and needs that we all have as humans.
Yeah.
The need to be loved, the need to feel productive, the need to feel seen.
So on that level, to burst everyone's bubble, we aren't as unique as the inspirational pictures on Facebook tell us that we are, right? We all the same.
True.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
It's our ego that likes to say you are unique and there's nobody like you on the planet, which is I believe is nonsense, because I'm pretty sure if we search hard enough, you're gonna find somebody that's just like me, that has the same values like me, that has the same likes as me, dislikes as me, very similar match. So we aren't as unique as we think we are.
No.
Yeah, and yeah.
So much to open up to discovering in who we are.
Yes.
And what is possible.
Mm-hmm. I think, to find out who we are, we have to go beyond asking questions such as, what do you like to have on your pizza? Do you like pineapple on the pizza? We have to go beyond those, simple likes and dislikes, because who we are is none of anything that we carry with the sleeve.
True.
So, David, I would love to ask you, generally people are kind to each other in person, generally, but how come on social media, especially the YouTube section where there's all the comments, why are people so mean there? Why are people mean on social media?
I think people give themselves more. I've always said people take more liberties with the people they love to communicate and act and be whoever they want. People feel they can do that with their families or relationships, or and let their guard down and just say it for whatever way they want to say it. But I also think people take a lot of those liberties on social media to say or be or do whatever they want.
But it's really hurtful, man. Like really bad stuff that they would say to people without holding back.
Oh, totally, without holding back sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of those people are unconscious, and sometimes some of those people are very conscious.
I think also they are hiding behind this glass, so they're hiding behind
Absolutely.
its name so they can do whatever
And,
they want.
and it's a shadow piece of all their unprocessed, deeper emotional programming, and, that they can be tyrants or abusive and act that way. They believe that that's okay because that's a normal way of being for them.
I really miss the good old days when we could make a joke on social media or just make a joke in people and people would just laugh and not be offended, because we have become so sensitive to everything and we take offense to everything. I don't
Yes,
know
and people are a lot different on their online world sometimes than they are in their personal physical world.
So we really are different, multiple personalities walking around
and juggling different worlds.
Yeah. And I know that you actually made a video not too long ago. Was it yesterday or the day before, talking about how we live in worlds within worlds, or in worlds within this world, this physical world, which was a great video. If you guys haven't seen.
And sometimes our worlds within worlds, we only share with certain people, certain worlds, not all the worlds that we live in.
So, David, I have to ask you, are we really currently going through an energy shift? And I'm asking you that because I don't feel anything, or maybe I'm not awakened enough to feel anything, but I personally don't feel anything special going on. But during times of existential crisis, of chaos in the world, people claim that we are going through an energy shift. And I don't think that there needs to be a crisis in order for there to be a shift. What do you think?
There's been a big battle between the light and the dark in our world.
Okay.
Which is still occurring. My reading is the light's gonna win.
Right.
Okay.
But when and I don't mean like maybe this year. I'm surely it's going to be thousands.
Well, it's a process. We're being rebirthed into a new world. So our world is being birthed into a new world. And right now there's a big clearing or cleansing or purification process towards that. To be able to live more in harmony, more in balance, more awake, more conscious. And humanity is getting really big wake-ups this year. And so much has been kept hidden from people. And so much of humanity has been completely lied to. And The other thing is that through all of these awakenings, so much will be revealed. And not all of humanity is really going to want to see it all. And, you know, what it's going to be presented with. And there's so many information wars going on right now for power struggles of, you know, what's being disclosed, what's not, what's being revealed, how it's being revealed, how much. And there's battles right now for all of that. Power struggles is a good way to say it. But humanity is going to get some big wake-ups with some big reveals. And out of that, that's going to start to shift the consciousness more, and it's going to shift what's occurring in our world as well, and how people respond to it and what they decide to embrace. Because a lot of it they're not going to embrace. Some yes, some no.
Are you able to share with us what changes you think may happen to our experience of our world?
Wow, another big question.
Maybe just one thing that you think will be different from the way things are now. Just one thing that you think. I mean, is it going to be the way we spend money? Is it going to be the way we live in houses, the way we communicate? Or how do you think?
I think that there's been a lot of abuse of children. And I feel that humanity will become more conscious and more protective of children.
Okay. Yeah. That is big.
And I think a lot of that has been very hidden. And it's going to come out more and more. And I think that a lot of technologies and resources have been held back by people that have wanted to control and manipulate all of it. And I feel a lot of that being released over time.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you know, not everybody's going to get to see everything that they want to see through the process.
Yeah.
But as a result of all of it, the world will be eventually in a better place. But we're in a process to get there. But eventually it will be better.
I think the one thing that can shift is that we will have access to free energy in terms of, not having to pay for, the lights, or just not having to pay for any electricity, because I don't understand why we have to pay for this thing. There's so much of energy, free flowing energy in this universe.
I feel the quality of life will be boosted eventually through all of it.
Yeah. So that would be amazing.
I hold our planet in such a good way. And it's such a beautiful place. We're all so lucky to be here on the planet and alive at this time for this process of birthing our new world. We all, came here for this and during these times of ascension and awakening. And it's such an exciting and dynamic time to be here with so many changes.
Yeah, it is a great time to be here. I mean, but look, this is a really wonderful place to be, like you shared. But as somebody works with human beings all the time, I mean, we are really messed up. The human beings have a long way to actually go. And I judge human beings by all of the comments that they make in the YouTube channel. I know whether there's going to be world peace by reading the comment section on YouTube. And I think our level of consciousness shows in all of those comments that we have a long, long way to go.
I think the important thing, is for people to realize that we all share the world. Showing you that the connection's a little unstable for the internet, but we all share the world. We all need to come together to support our world more, rather than, in all the power struggles and control that's occurred in our world.
Yes. That's really well said. That's really beautiful. If we could all realize that we share the world, I think we would really open our hearts up much more.
Yeah, and treat one another, for humanity to treat one another and the environment and the whole planet with more respect,
Absolutely.
a higher regard.
Yeah, absolutely.
What people respect and value, they take care of.
That's true. That's the real wisdom there. That's I need to write all this down and maybe share it back with you what you've shared, because you need to post it, maybe make a video about this just this year. I want to ask you another question, which is leading from what we've
Yes.
just spoken about, and that is, and this is this is a bit heavy, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. What do you think would happen to humanity if the concept of God was no longer available or no longer existed? And the reason that I'm asking that also is because religion creates barriers between people. That's what I think. The thing that is supposed to actually bring us together tears us apart. So do you think that we would actually get on better? Or
I think it would give humanity an opportunity for a real breakthrough. And the real breakthrough would be to not rely on an outside source like a government or God or other people to take care of things, but to really become more self-reliant in how we show up with taking care of things ourselves and not waiting for other people, organizations, or energies or powers to do it.
I think that people do not want to take responsibility for their lives. So therefore we need something on the outside, something greater and even bigger than us, such as the government or God. We need this something else to be in control or to be in charge. I think we need to have that kind of thing. I just wish that it did not separate us and just put barriers between us.
Yeah, it's it's tricky because it's like where humans choose to take things isn't always necessary.
Yeah,
but they take them there anyway, where they don't need to be.
definitely. And I don't. It would really matter if the idea or the concept of God did not exist anymore. Because even if you remove God from the equation, people still find differences with their culture, whether it's with their sexual orientation, whether it's with their language. Human beings find ways to be different from each other, whether it's in color. We find ways. I mean, we live in the world that's supposed to be free, yet we have borders between countries. I mean, if I wanted to come to Australia, it's from South Africa, especially. It's not a simple process, and I have a few stories of how I've tried to get to Australia, and I've had some challenges to overcome. We created borders, you know.
I want to say one thing here.
Yeah.
As human beings, being in 2020,
Yes.
what kind of world are we to still have human trafficking occurring in 2020?
Yeah.
What kind allows that to occur still? What kind of species, with all the resources that we have available on our planet, allows there to be food shortages in certain places?
Yeah.
So we really have to look at what kind of species are we really, based on versus how we want to see ourselves as a species.
Mm.
Based on what we're allowing to occur.
Absolutely. And I also share the same thoughts. That the fact that somebody goes to bed tonight hungry in this day and age means that we have failed as a human species. We fail completely.
It's shocking.
Yeah. The amount of food we waste is just scary. If the connection is a bit low,
we get to become better as a species of taking care of one another.
yeah, it's all just going back to basics and just going back to just remembering what it means to being human. Because I wish there was a book, or I wish people went to a school where we were taught what it meant to be human. Do you know if there is actually a seed somewhere that says this is what it means, like just a book that says this is what it means to be human, and every human can read that and say, okay, so I need to be this and that? Or do you think that's not possible because we have all of this culture?
I think there's been a lot of different interpretations of that.
Yeah, but surely to be human, at least should include be kind, be loving, be respectful. Or do you think human beings make it complicated? What does it mean to be kind? What does it mean to be respectful? And then you gotta put point 2A, point 2B, point 2C, and then clause 2AB. Yeah. Why do we have to complicate everything?
It just plays out in different ways based on how people respond or react.
Mm. Yeah.
Just in that, are we in reaction or are we in response?
Yeah. I really like the way Christ said it. And for some reason, I'm quoting the Bible and Christ today. I don't know why. But he said it very simply. Love one another as I have loved you. If we just follow that, I think we'll have a really wonderful world if you just follow that.
Yeah, it would be it would be.
Hmm. David, the connection is really bad. I
Can
feel,
you hear me?
I feel bad because a lot of what you're sharing and talking, I'm hearing bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, the internet connection for some reason isn't the most stable at the moment.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are on the internet during the quarantines and the
yeah,
lockdowns.
yeah. That is. It's people are now living in that world because they can't in this physical world. So, David,
Mm.
I've had the opportunity to study numerology with you, and it was one of the best courses that I've ever had the chance to study. So let's talk a little bit about numbers, and maybe this will be the last thing that we talk about today. So when you become conscious,
Okay.
you start to see patterns or repeating numbers around you, and it makes you think that reality is a program. So, do you think that numbers are actually a language in which information is communicated to us? Is numbers
I
actually a
do. I think numbers and numerology are both life studies.
Hmm.
I think we always have things to learn about them. So it's an ongoing language um, or languages, and I don't think we ever stop learning about them.
Yeah.
And yes, I do feel they unlock a lot of things. They reveal so much when we take the time to learn about them or work with them or understand them or create with them.
So,
They they can really change the trajectory of things.
hmm, how do you use the numbers in your daily life? Do you, if you want to do certain things in your life, do you look for a good
I
date?
use I use the numbers to look at how I measure things. And if I change the trajectory and make things bigger, how do the numbers change to make that happen based on how I'm measuring it?
Hmm.
And I use the numbers for timing. They're almost like codes that reveal timing.
Hmm.
Um, the numbers make me pay attention in a different way.
Yeah. Why did you choose to have a chat with me at your 3 p.m. in Australia? Was it just a time that you were free, or did you calculate that, or would you just
Three is a really good number for expansion
yeah, yeah,
and for um, I want to say entertainment, but beyond the entertainment, it's a good number for expansion and creativity and
yeah,
expression. And three is connected to Jupiter and the Vedas,
yeah, yeah.
and so there's a lot of benevolence that comes with three because of Jupiter.
Mhm. Do you ever look at maybe l- like your flight number and say, okay, this flight is going to be on time, or this flight will be late, or this is going to be a good flight, or do you are you
I
always thinking about
do.
numbers?
I do look at numbers with flights, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, and if I have a list of different flight numbers for a day, I'll pick the numbers that I feel good about.
Okay. Yeah. I think most
And
people look at the only number, which is the price. Yeah.
so what time was it in the morning there when we started this talk today?
Well, at my time was 7 a.m. And for you, it was 3.
So 7 and 3, by the way, is 10.
Oh, yeah.
And 10 is the Wheel of Fortune card in the Tarot,
Oh, yeah.
which means the wheel is always spinning. We have no control over where it lands, but wherever it lands, that's our opportunity.
Yeah.
And so this talk between both of our times changes people's fortunes.
Wow. Okay. That's incredible to know. Because I never saw that, and I never think. See, this is why we talk to the masters. This is why we have David here today. You know, a master is be able to just see, but rather perceive our reality in a way that we would not. You know, and this is what makes the masters the masters. David, in closing, is there anything that you want to share with the world? I know you share lots of wisdom.
There's so many masters in our world.
Mm.
There's masters that are in the physical. There's masters that are not in the physical.
Mm.
We can work with them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just, people have to get clear on what kind of world they're committed to creating based on what their vision is for our world. What kind of world are we all committed to creating for the future?
Yeah, we are all in this all together, and we need to stand together. Not just in times of crisis, but we always need to stand together. Yes. David, thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, my friend. Where can people hear these talks?
I am posting them on my Facebook profile as well as my Facebook page, but I'm also posting them onto YouTube. So I will send you the video as well to share with your community.
And can I share my website with people? Do you mind?
Absolutely, yes. I'm just going to ask you that. First of all, I just want to say, David, thank you so much for making time to actually be with us. It was really fun to have a conversation with you. You know,
great.
It's excellent. Sorry, David, say again?
It's so great always to connect with you.
Yeah, same. Thank you. You know,
thank you for having me.
David is excellent at everything that he does, and he's a true master, not only in the sense that he's wise, but he's a master at his craft. And anybody that has an opportunity to have a consult with him would be completely blown away. So, you know, there are very few intuitive readers in this world that I trust. I think there's 2, and David is one of those 2 that I trust. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you and to do a reading, find out more about you, where can
my website is www.InnerPrecision, PRECISION.com, InnerPrecision.com.
Right.
Thank you all so much for everything.
And thank you for watching In Conversation with the Masters. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.